Hello there, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Sunday Sauce. So great to be right back with you here again. I love just doing these videos. It helps me kind of with my own heart and my own readings, but I hope to touch other people's hearts or have God use me just as a vessel to touch your hearts. So that's very important to me. It's something that I just love doing. Love to read the Bible, and this helps everyone just kind of keep up on it. It was a lovely, beautiful day yesterday. I got to near 80 here in Michigan, which is wonderful. And it didn't feel too hot though either. It was really weird. But I kind of changed my camera angle a little bit. You can kind of see out the window behind me, and there's a nice tree there and things like that. It kind of rained last night. Uh, it was just raining a little bit earlier too as well, and but it's still just beautiful out. I mean, it's in the 60s. It's just God's just created just a beautiful day. So that got me to thinking. I just wanted to read a little bit in Genesis, how God created the world. I mean, most people kind of know the story whether they're Christian or not. Um, but I just think it's fitting for just the changes of seasons that we have now and everything that you can tell it's just a God thing when all of these changes of the seasons and everything do what they're doing. It always just awe inspires me in nature, uh, how these things are. I mean, how does it change the seasons like it is? All this stuff. How did it ever come about? And to me, it's incomprehensible how that could come about by anything but God. I mean, somewhere along the line, you can have the science and the science and science and science and science, but somewhere along the line, it comes to that point of where a God or had to be, or some sort of supernatural being had to intervene. Uh, my choice and belief in my heart is I know it's God. So that's just me. When I walk in the woods and hike, I see all the beautiful animals, all the way down to just the little tiny ones that are creepy as crawlies around. It's just amazing the diversity that's out there, and it just blows my mind. So in Genesis 1, it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the water." And then one of the famous lines, verse 3, "And God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light. God saw the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day." So that's just amazing. Hello. Create darkness and light. I mean, it's just, and that's one of the things that I see in our nature now that is amazing. Is, I mean, you wake up in the morning and the sun starts coming up. All this good stuff. It just amazes me. And then in verse 6, let's go on to verse 6, says, "And God said, 'Let there be an expanse between the waters to separate water from water.' So God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above it. And it was so. God called the expanse sky, and there was an evening, and there was a morning, the second day." There was day 2. He made some water. There you go. And sky separated. It's just amazing. And verse 9 says, "And God said, 'Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear.' And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and he gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, 'Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees in the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to the various kinds.' And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day." So, create all the vegetation. I mean, it would just be awesome to just see that. I mean, but You know, you think about this awesomeness here, but we see it all the time. Like I said, in the changing of seasons, the grass was all dead. The trees were off or the leaves were off all the trees. Uh, you know, but now everything's all green. The leaves are back on the tree. They're green. There's flowers popping up, tulips. There's flowering trees. Pretty soon there's gonna be even more flowers come up in the yards, in our yard, around all kinds of yards. There's all the stuff that's forming in the forests. I mean, it's just, so we see it all the time. But we really stop and go, wow, thank you, God. Thank you for just the beauty that you just let us witness every day, that we kind of just, oh, yeah, grass getting green. But no, it's amazing. It's amazing when this stuff is like this. Uh, it's just unbelievable to me. I mean, that's my opinion. Um, and God said, let there be lights in the expanse of sky to separate day from night, and let that serve as signs and mark seasons and days and years. And let them lights in the expanse be to govern the day, and lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the expanse of the sky to give light on earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God said that it was good, and there was evening, and there was morning the fourth day. So there's the heavens. I mean, just think of all the skies, all the stars, the other planets out there, all this and that people, we don't know very little about. It's just another awesomeness that, you know, God set out there this many years further. We were just to look at it for light stuff, but now we're actually exploring it somewhat, very minutely exploring it. So that's amazing as well. Then verse 20, and God said, let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the sky. So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living and moving thing with which the water teems, according to the kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said, be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the water in the seas, and let the birds increase on earth. And there was evening and there was morning, the fifth day. So again, just amazingly, I mean, like I was saying earlier, you see all the creatures in the forests and everywhere else. It's amazing. It's God. I mean, it can't be anything else. In verse 24, and God said, let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, livestock creatures, that they move along the ground, and wild animals according to each kind. It was so. And God made the wild animals according to the kinds, and livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. And God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful, increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds of the air, over every living creature that moves on the ground. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds of the air, and all the creatures that move on the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food. And it was so. God saw that he had made it, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning on the sixth day. Thus the heavens and earth were completed in all their vast array. So again, just amazing when I read all that. Just kind of contemplate it and think about it and rest on it and just look around the skies. You know, when God created man, I mean, think of the miracle of when babies are born, whether human or any creature. It's just it's God. It's God. You know, I know this isn't like some big, huge teaching today or something, but it's more of just awakening your senses and awakening what you see when you go out in these changes of seasons, especially when I notice it more than any other time. These changes of seasons, and here, like here in Michigan, where it goes from winter to spring, you know, and stuff starts melting and stuff starts changing to summer where everything's green and lush and everything like that. It's just the changes of seasons just remind me more of God. So that's really all, folks. I love you. Thank you for listening to my rambling here today. And I hope you have a blessed day and go around and just notice the things in your part of this country or your country, your state, whatever it happens to be. Just take time to look and listen. Another good sense to do. And have a great day. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.